What's good, everybody? I'm back with another video, For today's video, I wanted to do a little chit chat, get ready with me. I have never done that before, so this is new for me. I just kind of woke up and was like, let me do a video. I'm not going nowhere, but let's do it. I wasn't sure what I really wanted to talk about in this. I have a feeling that I'm going to be rambling, so my apologies ahead of time. But I know for sure that I wanted to talk about 2018 as a whole. My experience with it, things I learned. So basically, 2018 was really a year of growth for me. I learned a lot this year. So many growth in different areas. Growth within myself, you know, growth in my relationships with people, growth in my self-love journey, the whole 9 yards. I think one of the things that I'm probably most proud of from this year is I overcame a good 7 years of depression. I want this video to be as raw as it can. And I'm an open book. That's one thing that if you don't know me, if you don't know by now, I am not ashamed of, you know, the things that I go through. You know, I'm very open. It's not a secret that I have been struggling for a long time, since the 7th grade to be exact. And 7 years is a long time, bro. Like, I'm about to be 21. And people probably wondering, how was you depressed in the 7th grade? That's middle school, girl. What you had to be depressed about? But I just remember explicitly just not being happy. It wasn't just a bad day. You know, that's not what it felt like. It felt like 10 bad days in one every day. And I couldn't really find the root of it, pinpoint it. I just know that one factor that always lingers was self-esteem. Like, I probably had the worst self-esteem that you would ever encounter in a person. I just plain and simply did not love myself. Like, I found it hard to even look at myself in the mirror some days because I just did not like what I saw. I didn't like who I was. I felt out of place in life. Like, I couldn't find enjoyment in anything. Well, I don't want to say anything. I loved playing basketball. If you don't know me, those who know me know I love music, I love singing, but I just wasn't happy. And that carried on for so long. Not being okay with who I saw in the mirror, the person I was when I woke up, or the person I was when I went to bed. I was always so self-conscious, like, and you know, I just didn't feel good about myself. I didn't love myself. You know, that took a toll on my early adult year. I mean, I'm still in my early adult years. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm literally only 20, almost 21. But I can genuinely say now that I love myself. Like, it doesn't even need to be said, you know? And there are gonna be days that aren't as great as others. And I had to learn to be okay with that. I had to learn to be okay with how I felt. That it was okay not to be okay. One of my favorite songs by Jessie J says, it's okay not to be okay sometimes. But it felt like I was not okay for a very long time. I think I was holding on to a lot of baggage, a lot of stuff that someone at my age doesn't necessarily, that no one should have to go through, but especially someone so young and supposed to be full of life. I was a shell of myself. I didn't feel like I had a purpose, you know, I was really struggling. I won't go too much into detail, but if that is something that you're interested in hearing me talk about, my experience with that, then by all means, let me know. Like I said, I'm very open. I don't mind sharing my experience to help others. That's essentially what I want my platform to be like. I know it's a little off topic, but I don't want my channel to just be, you know, hair and beauty, which is amazing, great, all respect to anybody who does it. But I know for me, for my own platform, that's not all I want to present. I want you guys to see the raw, real Leah, and that's knowing who I was and who I am now and everything in between. And like I said, I'm not ashamed because I would not be who I am now if I did not go through half of the stuff that I went through. But yeah, back to 2018, because I got a little off track. But I think, you know, having a little background on who I am and what I've been through helps a little bit. So yeah, this year started off pretty bad. I did not have a great start of this year. But when I say my life took a whole 180, I am not the same person I was at the beginning of 2018. And I'm not going into 2019 that same person either. I went from someone who was very, very insecure, very unsure of herself, almost feeling like hopeless at sometimes, to this person who, when she looks at herself in the mirror, whether she has a full face of makeup on or none at all, feels good. There was a point in my life when I couldn't go a day without makeup. It wasn't happening. He was not catching me without no makeup on. And I started wearing makeup in middle school. So, but this year I did a lot of soul searching. I basically said to myself, this is not how I want to spend the rest of my life. I don't want to continue hating myself. I don't want to continue hating who I am. I don't want to continue not feeling good about me or the things that make me unique, or simply comparing myself to other people who I thought were better than me. And one thing about me, I'm never a hater. Never have been, never will be. So when I see someone I'm jealous of or compare myself to, I'm never tearing them down. It's always me tearing myself down. I will build people up to the end of the earth before I would even build myself up. And that was a problem. I didn't stop building other people up because that's part of who I am. But I had to learn how to put some of that energy into myself. Something I was never used to. I learned how to be less dependent on people. This was one of the biggest lessons, one of the many. I just can't be dependent on people. Like, now don't get me wrong, having a support system is everything, and I have a great support system. But it was getting to the point where I didn't feel like I could uplift my own self. I had to rely on somebody else trying to build me up. And that's draining. That's draining on not only myself, but to anybody in my life who I used to turn to make me feel better about myself. So that external validation had to go. This was one of the years where I felt like I started getting a lot of attention, my forehead, a lot of attention from not just men, boys, guys, whatever, but just on social media in general. I was letting it go to my head. Like, it was what I expected at a point. And when I wasn't getting it, it was like, what's wrong with me? You know, I went back to that old thought, like, I went back to my old thoughts about myself, old negative thoughts. Because so much of my life, I've been trying to validate myself through other people, through other means but myself. And that's not healthy. That's not healthy in any way. And so now, this year, I would catch myself. I was like, Leah, whenever I started to feel like I was being dependent on, you know, the likes I was getting or the comments, I had to stop myself. I'd have a talk with myself like, no, we're not doing that again. We're not doing that again. So, you know, I'm at a place where like, that doesn't even get to me anymore. Because at the end of the day, social media is not reality. That's not real life, you know? It's not everything. And I feel like, especially in our society and in this generation, because we're so technologically advanced. I said that all wrong. Technologically advanced. And we have these social media networking sites where we connect with people who we know and we don't know. And their opinions start to be more valued than our own opinions that we have of ourselves. And that's not okay. I learned that the hard way. I learned it, oh my God. And so there was a point where I just needed to take a break from social media and just get back right with Leah. Like, I had to ask myself the hard questions. You know, things that I'd never really contemplated before, but it was just like getting to the point where, you know, I just had to. I had to ask myself, who is Leah? Who are you? You know, so much of my life I was relying on other people's opinions of me, or just opinions in general on things. Like, what does Leah think it is? How does Leah feel? Not how old girl over there and shorty over there think, but how does Leah feel? Leah Hameen, yeah, my gubby. How does she feel? And who is she? Because does she even know herself? And the answer was no, clearly. I didn't know myself. I didn't know what I liked. I didn't deep down really know. I never got that deep with myself. So this year was huge on reflection. And one thing that, you know, something I'm always told is I'm very self-aware. And I wasn't even aware that I was self-aware. I had to change. I had to do something different because whatever I was doing was not working. And I didn't want to continue being unhappy. And I wanted to be the reason that I was happy. Not because I was with so-and-so or because so-and-so my friend and this person liked me or this person don't like me, you know? Because at the end of the day, that's not what's important. What's important is how you feel about yourself. And because I felt so negatively about myself, I was just unhappy in every aspect of my life. I got to know Leah. You know, another lesson I had to learn was, and this is a hard one, and it's so simple, but so hard to fully grasp, is that not everybody that you love wants to be loved by you, period. And you think, oh, well, why doesn't so-and-so want to be loved by me? Why don't they want to be with me? Why don't they want to be loved by this? You know what I'm saying? I have so much love to offer. People who know me know that I love love. Whether platonic, romantic, whatever. I love to love. I have so much love to give. You know, I was at a point where I was pouring into me. So I was like, that overflow can be poured into, you know, other avenues. Of course, my friends was gonna get the love, family, duh. But it goes back to that issue I was having with self-esteem. And, you know, I had to learn that not everybody wants to be loved by you, and that's okay. It's okay. That doesn't mean that you should stop loving, you know? And it can be discouraging, but it's life, you know? You gotta understand that nobody really owes you anything. Nobody owes you loyalty. Nobody owes you love. So you can't really dwell on it. But you can focus on the ones who are accepting of it. You can focus on the people who do want your love. But first and foremost, that love has to be poured into you. And you can't judge, just need love too. Girls need love too. And this is not to say that 2018, I didn't get up and fall back and get up and fall back down, because there were many times where I did fail. There were times that I did succeed. But I'm starting to learn that not every loss is a loss. Either you win or you learn. And I didn't lose. I don't feel like I really lost anything. I just learned. You can't grow without knowledge. It's just, it goes hand in hand. I basically learned to pour into me. Figure out what Leah wants. Yes, I'm gonna always be that person who wants the best for the people that I love, but I gotta also want the best for me. And I learned that it's okay to say no sometimes. I learned to protect my peace. And not every day was a good day. You know, December was probably the worst of the best months that I've had. But the difference between old Leah and Leah now is that she knows that, and I say this all the time, but when I'm down, I know eventually I'm gonna get back up. Eventually. It may not be right now, but that bounce back, it's gonna happen sooner or later. And one thing I tried to be very consistent with, and not everybody's religious, but this is for me personally, I prayed like I never prayed before. I truly believe that I would not be in the space that I am right now if it was not for prayer. And for those who don't know, I am a Muslim, born and raised. We have 5 prayers that we have to do. But on top of that, you know, I have my own one-on-one talks with God. A lot of the things that I wanted, I received. And then I also had to learn that just because I want it, that don't mean it's good for me. Just because I pray for it, that doesn't mean I need it. That doesn't mean I'm going to get it, you know? And that's okay too, because whatever plan I have for myself can never be better than the one that God has for me, ever. For me to question it would be out of pocket. And when I do question it, I'm humbled, quick as hell. God finds no trouble in humbling my ass. And that's good. I need to be humbled. There are times where I find myself on a really high horse. I used to struggle with being very self-righteous. God humbled me. And that's why I feel as though I'm a very understanding person now, because just because it's what I think don't necessarily make it right. So with that being said, I got no place to really judge nobody. And just as, you know, I wouldn't want to be judged, I'm not going to go out of my way to judge somebody else. That's not my place. That's not my job. So live your best life, boo. I'm living mine. But yeah, like looking back at those 7 years was really just, it was a blur. I just know the only consistent thing in my life, aside from like my family and stuff like that, was my unhappiness, my sadness. And it got to a point where victimhood was the only thing I knew. It was what I felt defined me. So I had to learn to get out of that victim mindset. Had to stop throwing pity parties. Like, the party had to stop. The party never ends. Well, that party did. I can truly say I've never been happier in my life. Never. Even on my worst days now, they don't even compare to how I was when I was depressed. And it's really a blessing, because I really never thought that I would make it this far in my journey. Even when I do have bad days now, I'm still so grateful. Like, it's so weird. But I always think, you know, at least you're not how you was last year, or, you know, the past 7 years. Nothing can compare to that. And I pray that I never, ever, ever sink back in that place, because the day that I allow myself to do that, bruh, just know it's got to be something serious, because I really, 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 really have worked on baggage. Carrying that around with me, it's just not healthy. It was weighing me down. Like, I really didn't know how much more I could take. And it was affecting not just my life, but the people around me. And I feel so bad for the people who knew me during the past 7 years. And it's not to say you don't know me now, but you low-key don't know me now, you know? I literally am in the best space of my life. And I see a future for myself. And I see myself doing something good in the world. I finally feel like I have a purpose. And I've never felt like that. I probably haven't felt like that since I was a kid. Even as a kid, like, I just remember being so self-conscious. Oh, that's a whole nother video for another day. Because my childhood, it wasn't bad, but I had a lot of internal struggles. So, I can very well talk about my childhood another day, but this video gonna be OD long if I talked about it today. Just not staying complacent was a big lesson for me. Not to say that I'll never be satisfied, but I really will never be satisfied. I'm motivated to have a better life for myself. And not just for myself, but for others. Like, what I want to do in life is bigger than just me. So that's really what keeps me going, because I know that time here is short, life here is short, and I gotta stop wasting time. Like, that's what it felt like. Those 7 years felt like a waste of time. Oh, I didn't feel like I was really doing nothing useful. And granted, you know, I did have a few good times. Like, that's not to say that the whole 7 years was all bad. I was depressed through all of it. But there were, you know, highlight moments. But as a whole, it just kind of bleak. You know, I'm walking in 2019 with a completely different mindset than I walked into 2018. And I find myself putting less pressure on myself than I used to, because that was partial reason why I just wasn't happy, because I didn't feel like I was achieving these, you know, impossible goals, these impossible things for myself. I became a little more realistic with what I wanted in life. I'm happier and I'm achieving more because I'm not expecting too much of myself. Not that I don't expect high for myself, but expecting too much. And we can get boggled down with the idea that we're not where we should be, where we feel we should be, but we are exactly where we need to be. And that's not to say that you shouldn't strive to be better, because that is always the goal, is to be better. I try to be better every day, better than I was yesterday. I'm not the same person I was yesterday. Change it can be a really good thing. You just have to embrace it, how it comes. Roll with the punches. And that's what I'm learning. I'm learning that if I can't control it, I'm gonna let it go. If I can control it, I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna do better. I know it's easier said than done, but it's the truth. It's really that simple. It is really that simple. And when you know better, do better. And that's just my mindset now, is I know better, so I'm going to do better. I don't need to sit in front of a camera and talk about, you know, how much I love myself now. I don't need to do that to prove that to anyone. Damn, my lips is chapped. Hold up now. Hold up. Be back. Like I was saying, I don't need to sit up on this camera in front of whoever's watching, if anybody's even watching. I don't need to prove that I love myself to anybody but myself. This color just not working for me, okay? I'm not feeling it. Honestly, I don't remember what I was saying, so we're gonna move on. But yeah, this video is mad long, so if you made it this far, congratulations, you're a real one. I just think it's very important to just accept yourself, and if you can change something, change it. If you can't, don't fret, don't worry about it. Easier said than done, but just plain and simple, don't worry about it. You got better things to worry about. You got better things to be focusing on. Your attention doesn't need to be all in one thing. So I just think, you know, just keep striving to be the best version of yourself. I see this quote all the time, and it relates to me so well. Be the person that younger you needed. And I feel like I'm finally becoming the woman that little Lee always wanted to be and always needed, you know. Not to say, this is not, you know, anything to do with mother figures, because I have a fantastic mom. My mom's the best of the best, okay? But you know, just the person that, the inner person that I needed. The inner confidence that I needed, the self-esteem that I wish I always had. But if I always had this, yeah, it'd be great. I would have avoided a lot, but I wouldn't be who I am. And who I am is great. And who I am now is very grateful for all the good and the bad. And this is not to say that being depressed, anyone should strive to be depressed, but I think with depression came something beautiful. It came a young lady who struggled for so long, fought a lot of battles, lost a lot of battles, could have lost one of the biggest battles, life. And I know I say that so nonchalantly, but that's just not me anymore. Someone who once hated life loves it, the good and the bad. I don't love the bad, but I know it's necessary. I know that life not always gonna be, you know, peaches and cream and sunflowers and roses. My mind's so cross-eyed. But anyways, it's not always gonna be a walk in the park. I think sometimes we expect life to not have its It's obstacles. Yes, some things are avoidable. Some things are preventable. But some things aren't. And it's straight like that. But yeah, I felt compelled to just get on here and talk about how I felt. Talk about, you know, allow some of you guys to understand me a little bit deeper. For people to see a real person. Someone who has been through a lot of hurt. Someone who no longer identifies herself as a victim. Doesn't allow that to confine me to anything. I'm just taking everything that I've learned and applying it to life. Like, most importantly, I just learned not to give up on myself. Despite how bad I want to. I cannot give up because I know, now knowing that my purpose, I know that I have a lot more to offer than I ever thought I did. And it would be a disservice if I didn't do what I need to do. I think that me coming on this camera, being open and raw with y'all, you know, there's someone out there who was probably just like me or is just like how I was, who may need to hear this, because I know I used to gravitate to YouTube for someone who was relatable to me. And I will never front for no camera, never front for no audience. So what you see is what you get, basically. So my biggest goal here is just to inspire somebody, whether it's just one person, whether I get one view, whether I get no views, I don't know, I don't care. It's kind of therapeutic for me, getting on here and talking about this. Sorry for the rambling. Sorry for, you know, being random and being all over the place. My thoughts is always so scattered. But I really hope and pray that coming on here and talking about things that I've been through helps somebody. Just anybody, you know? And if you know someone who you feel may need a video like this or hear what I've gone through, send it their way. You never know who it can help. It may not help at all. Shit. Also, if you want to reach me, you need to reach me, hit up my social media. I'm not Hollywood. I don't think I'm too good to respond to nobody. So if you're going through something, you know, you need somebody to listen, some advice, please don't hesitate. Please don't hesitate, because I know how important it is to have someone to listen. And sometimes a complete stranger can help you more than someone you know. And that's coming from experience. I want people to feel comfortable enough to confide in me. I know this video is probably going to be very long, even after I edit it and stuff, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it wasn't too boring. I hope that you gained something from it, and that wherever you are on your journey of self-love, that you don't give up on yourself. Please don't. I am a testimonial that, you know, giving up is not the option. It's not, because I never ever imagined being where I am at life, but I didn't give up. Came close, but I didn't. So I wish the best for everybody watching this, and see you in my next video.